Welcome back to week three of the Career Transition Accelerator program. I am excited that we are almost halfway through this journey. This week, we're going to be talking about the job search strategy. So, week one, we spent some time understanding who we were. Week two, we talked about what the external market was and that research. And now in week three, we're putting together a plan of action. So, what are some of the things that we're going to be covering in the job search strategy? First of all, we're going to talk about what a job search strategy is. We're going to create a realistic job search routine. We're going to talk about preparing your documentation, so your resume, your cover letter. In week four, we're going to tackle the LinkedIn profile. So this week, it's just your resume and your cover letter, as well as just some of those timelines. So, what is the job search strategy, right? A job search strategy, simply put, is an action plan that helps you get organized and prepared for your job search. It's pretty straightforward, right? There are three main areas in the job search strategy. You have your timelines, your activities, and your documentation. These three things make up your job search strategy, right? Some of these, strategies are going to be going with us for the next couple of weeks and even after the end of this program. But they include things like personal branding or, understanding your job search channels, tracking your opportunities, everything in between. Essentially, it's just a plan of action moving forward. So let's start by reviewing our job search strategy template. Each page, each tab has a different section of the job search strategy. You're going to go one by one by one. It shouldn't take you more than a dedicated hour or two working through this. Remember, this week we're going to be focusing on your resume and cover letter. You want to spend most of your time working on your resume and your cover letter, and a minimal amount of time working on creating your job search strategy template. So, the first tab within that job search strategy template is your timelines, right? This program, I always tell people it's 6 weeks, it's accelerated. However, your job search could be 6 to 12 months, right? Especially if you're looking at making a transition. So, wanting to map out what those 6 to 12 months look like is really, really important, which is why you have the job search timeline, right? Job searching can be extremely time consuming. It can feel like a full time job. And if you don't have any type of plan, any timeline that you're following, you can spend a lot of time just doing a lot of different activities and it may not actually lead to anything. This timeline allows you to prioritize, it allows you to track your goals and your progress so that you're able to actually move forward through this process. The second activity is to take a look at tab one, which is your job search timeline, and add in those specific details. So if you're going to start with clarifying your goals, we would have already covered that in the first 2 weeks of this program. So you can already knock that off, right? The next step is your documentation, how long it's going to take to work through those, knock those off, and then going down and down and down and down and down until you get an offer. The next section, the next tab on your job search strategy is your job search routine. This is something that I see so often that people do not have routines around their job search. They sort of just job search whenever, especially if they have a full time job. They just when they get stressed out at work, that's when they like go overdrive in job search. When they feel disillusioned, just a disappointment, then they go overdrive. That's not the way that you should be approaching your job search. Your job search should be systematic, right? So there is a template in there for you to add in the routine that you're going to create for yourself, right? You either, going to include daily job searching for opportunities, applying efficiently, networking time, follow up time, preparing time. All of these different things have a time and a place, right? And that you action item. Create your routine. Don't overthink it. Just look through your days and just understand how your days work and then schedule them in. I've had clients in the past do 1 day of job search, or they split up the different activities over the 5 days of the week, or they do most of their job search on the weekend. Whatever works for you, just putting it into your calendar is going to be something that's going to be really important to do. Okay. Then we want to start mapping out some of your job search activities. So, what do I mean by this? Every single job search is going to require you to do more things than just put together a resume and apply online. You're going to need to build your network. You might need to take some courses or watch some YouTube videos, or connect with people or go to events. All these different things are different activities that you obviously will take part in your job search. Planning ahead is always going to be better than just scrambling and hoping that things fall together, which is why I have a table of the job search strategy template, which is all about planning ahead. So, what I want you to do is, I want you to identify 5 to 10 search activities that you're going to do over the next 6 weeks and 6 months. Um, the sheet will actually break it down, and it's broken down into, small activities, large activities, and everything in between. So don't need to worry about that. Okay. So now we are going to come to the biggest part of week 3. So the first, like, 3 or 4 action items, very simple, shouldn't take you more than 2 hours, 1 hour of dedicated time to complete the entire job search template. The rest of your week should be focused on the resume. The resume is going to take you time, right? This job search documentation covers your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile we're going to get to in week 4, so you don't need to worry about that for now. But we want to focus our energy on the resume and the cover letter, right? So there is a template on the job search strategy template that has a resume document that is able to show you exactly what to include in your resume and in your cover letter. I'm going to quickly show what this looks like. And so template, it's pretty straightforward. How do you read this? All of these are like instructions on how to use this document are in any are in red. And then there are open spaces where it says it, you to add your own information in there. Okay, pretty straightforward. Your profile summary is the first section of your resume. You want to focus in on highlighting just a few things about yourself at the beginning of your resume, right? So again, these are just notes on how to do that. You're answering 3 questions with building out your professional summary. Who are you? What have you done? What are you looking for? And this is just the notes on how to build that out. So ultimately, your jobs, your profile should be 2 to 3 lines maximum. So, accomplished certified project manager with 6 years client relationship management, program development, and digital transformation in financial services. Seeking opportunities in business analysis, project management, and change management. It's very straightforward, right? That's the first section. The second section is the highlights of qualifications. With the highlights of qualifications, you want to highlight soft skills and you want to highlight hard skills, right? Soft skills are simply any skill that takes you a long time to develop over multiple different activities. They're usually interpersonal in nature. So, communication skills, for instance. Communication skills is something that you're going to be building up throughout the entirety of your career. It takes years, right? You can build up your communication skills through many different activities, through customer service, to client relationship management, to writing reports, or facilitating workshops. These are all different types of communication skills. Whereas hard skills are usually tied to um, something that you can learn in a controlled environment, kind of like a classroom environment. There's a start and an end to it, and it's usually tied to a subject matter, right? So something like Excel. Excel will always be data analysis. There's no context where Excel is anything other than analyzing data, right? Whereas communication had all these different, use cases. Something like Excel only has one use case. It's tied to a subject matter, which is data analysis. So you have to explain soft skills a little bit more, whereas hard skills, you can simply just list. So the way to explain your soft skills is by telling us, what is the skill and what is the example. Ultimately, you're looking to answer two questions. What is the skill? Plus, how did you demonstrate it? I have a handy little formula here that helps you to map out how to demonstrate your skills, which is years plus the function of what you were doing and the industry you were doing it in, right? So I highlight this first bullet point says stakeholder management skills. That is the skill. How did you demonstrate it? 4 years collaborating with other project managers, technologists, business analytics, business managers, and executives. And where did you do it? In nonprofit. It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Okay. You'll have this template to work through. With your work experiences itself, you always want to start with a resume action verb. Then you want to tell us what or how you did something, plus the results of that thing, right? These are examples to highlight your own particular experiences. Your education, your volunteer experiences, these are all things that you can include on your resume. Okay, stop sharing, and then we're going to the main document. Perfect. So once up with the resume and cover letter templates, we can then move over to the next step, which is creating a skills bank. Again, instructions are included on how to create a skills bank, which is the item. Ultimately, what you're trying to do with your resume is you want to tailor your resume to any new opportunity that you're going to be looking for in week 5 and week 6. So this is something that we're going to come back to as we start putting in applications. What you're focused on when we're tailoring our resumes is we're highlighting the skills that the job description says that we need, right? And we're only editing the top half of the resume. At the end of the day, the rest of your resume are your experiences, right? So when you're putting together an application, you shouldn't be spending more than an hour putting your application together. 45 minutes spent on the resume, 15 minutes spent on the cover letter, and then you're able to move things forward. In our weekly one-on-ones, we'll over exactly how to do this type of work. And I believe those are the action items for this week. So start with doing your job search strategy template. Like I mentioned, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 action items you can complete in the same day. And then the remaining 2, which is your resume and your skills bank, is going to take the bulk of your time this week. So please prioritize your time properly. And I will see you on Saturday in our weekly coaching call. We're going to talk about some of the concepts on the resume. We're going to talk about any doubts that we might have, any struggles that we had throughout this week, and then we're going to be able to move forward into next week, which is all about building out your network. And I will see you then.